guys, TavHD here and welcome back to another video, and today I'll be showing you the desk at which I edit my videos. I only set this up about a week ago after moving back to using my Mac to edit videos. For nearly a year I was using my Windows computer, but ultimately I came back to my Mac because it's just a better experience. I'm now using Final Cut Pro on my Mac to edit the videos for this channel. It's just a lot better of an experience than my PC, which is actually more powerful, but this is just better for me. So I have now set this up and this is where I'll be recording videos from now on. We're going to start from the left and go to the right. I'll get close-ups of everything as we go along, but first off I want to talk about the desk itself. This is from IKEA. It's just one of the cheap IKEA Linmons. I believe this was only £12 with the legs, so extremely cheap. This is actually only a 1 metre one, but my laptop is partly on another one, so that one over there is a 1.2 metre. This is a 1 metre. 1 metre doesn't sound like a lot, but it's big enough for me to fit 2 monitors on, as well as my microphone and everything that I need for this setup. I've had this particular desk for about 3 years. It's kind of falling apart, but it still serves its purpose perfectly well. I would like to comment on the wires down there. Please ignore those. Those are part of a different thing which will get sorted out another day. Okay, so here is the computer that I use on this setup. It's a mid-2015 15-inch MacBook Pro. It's just the baseline model with the 2.2 GHz Core i7, 16 GB of RAM, and it's got the Iris Pro graphics as well. This computer is now nearly 6 years old, but it still edits my videos perfectly fine. I film in 4K 25 frames per second. No problems with this computer at all. I don't really see a need to upgrade for quite a few more years as long as it stays performing the way that it is. It's currently sitting on a Griffin elevator stand just to elevate it off the desk a little bit. And as you can see, I've got the lid closed and the monitors are still on. That's because it is in desktop mode. It just means that it gets a little bit more performance since it's not having to drive the internal Retina display, and I don't really need 3 monitors on the setup anyway. Just 2 will do just fine. The way I'm connecting to the monitors is on this side I've got a mini DisplayPort to HDMI adapter, and on the other side over here I've just got a HDMI cable. I'm also powering the laptop off a MagSafe 1 charger using a adapter which I got from the Apple store. That means that I can still use my original charger that came with this computer when I'm using this computer not at the desk. That works absolutely fine. Looking underneath the laptop stand, you can see there are 2 USB cables. The problem with running a laptop on a setup like this is this computer only has 2 USB ports, and I just quickly put this setup together. I bought nothing new for it. It was just using parts I already had, so I don't actually have a USB 3 hub, so I've got to have some USBs not plugged in all the time and just have them loose under there. Those 2 USBs are for 2 different hard drives, which you can kind of see behind there. The one on the right is a Seagate expansion drive. I believe that is a 2 TB drive. That is what I use for Time Machine backup for this machine, so if anything goes wrong I've always got a backup that I can restore to. And the drive on the left under there is another Seagate drive. That is a 4 TB drive, and that is where I store all of my YouTube videos. I also store them elsewhere connected to other computers, so if one drive dies I should still have all of my data, but that is where I export to, and that is where I save all of my raw footage as well as the completed files. And you can also see behind there the cables aren't the best. I'm just using all the standard cables, so some of them are too long and some are too short to manage effectively, but when I'm sat down I can hardly see them and the cables don't really bother me that much anyway. Okay, next up, looking at the peripherals I use on the desk. First up, the mouse mat. This is just a cheap extended mouse mat off Amazon. I believe it was about £10. I've had it a couple of years, used it on many different setups. It does exactly what I need it to. It is a good enough quality for me. The keyboard I'm using is just a first generation Apple wireless aluminium keyboard. I was planning on getting the Magic Keyboard 2, but I don't really need to. This one works just fine for me. And something else that works just fine for me is this. This is my first generation Apple wireless trackpad. When editing videos, especially in Final Cut, I like to use a trackpad, either the one built into the laptop when I'm not at this setup, or when I am here, I use this. I just feel it's a lot better for scrubbing through the timeline. Of course, you can do that on a Magic Mouse as well, but I don't really like those mice. I don't find them to be the most ergonomic of things. This isn't too ergonomic really, but I have got used to it, and this is my preferred way of interfacing with the computer. Between my two monitors, this is the Behringer Euphoria UMC22. I recently made a video about this, and this is just the audio interface that I use to connect my microphone to my computer. I'm going to use this for voiceovers for videos if I ever have to do that, and if I ever do some sort of sit down video here with a product here and I'm sat here, I can use my microphone to then record the audio for that, and it will be controlled by that and then connect into my computer. Now, on top of the interface there's a little Apple badge. That is, I believe, from the 1980s. It's an original one, and I believe it is what the Apple Store employees would have worn at the time. I got it on eBay for about £5, which I think is a pretty good deal. It's in very nice condition. I just put it there because I quite like the look of it. Next up are the two monitors I use. These are both identical. They are the 24-inch 1080p curved ones. I believe they are the CF3690 or something like that. I'll put it on screen if that was wrong. These are just standard cheapo 1080p curved monitors. They work perfectly fine for this setup. As much as I would like to edit on a 4K display, my computer can only run one 4K display at 30Hz. Even though my videos are in 25Hz, it would probably be fine to edit on a 30Hz monitor. I just prefer 60Hz, and these ones do it just fine. Of course, on my PC setup I do have two 4K ones, so it does take a little bit of getting used to going between these ones and the higher resolution ones, but they are absolutely fine for what I want to do, and luckily they both fit perfectly on this desk. If I was going to go out and buy new monitors for this setup, I would probably get maybe one ultra wide, probably a 3440 by 1440 one. Hopefully that would also be curved, because I have seen some flat ones that are 34 inches of that resolution, but I just think that it would be better if it was curved. But of course, I just made this setup from bits I already had around. These used to be on my PC setup before I got the 4K ones, and they were just sat around doing nothing, so I thought I might as well put them on this setup, and they work absolutely fine. No complaints with these. They are both identical, but they aren't exactly the same height. One's a bit lower than the other, but if you angle them just right and push them together, you can get them to pretty much line up. I'm not too bothered about what it looks like, to be honest, as long as it works. Underneath the right monitor is my camera battery charger. For these YouTube videos I use both a Panasonic Lumix G7 as the main camera, and sometimes I use a secondary one, which is a Lumix FZ82. This is the charger for the G7 battery. I don't actually have a dedicated charger for the FZ82, so I just plug it into the side of my laptop and it charges like that. But I've got this charger just placed here. In the past I've just had it dangling out of the wall and it was kind of inconvenient, but now I've got a designated place where I do my editing. I thought it would be quite nice if I just put the charger there, and to stop it wobbling around I have stuck it down with a bit of double-sided tape. It's now secure enough on there that it won't just fall off. Next up on the desk is just my phone. I just plonk that wherever. I might get a wireless charger for this setup. I've got one on my PC setup, so it might be nice to put one on here too, even though it's not really too much hassle just going to the other side of the room and putting it on charge there, but it's all about convenience. If I can find a nice cheap one that's good quality, I might get one and put it over here. But yeah, this phone just goes wherever, and today I decided to put it here. And I think this is the final part of the setup which needs to be spoken about. This is my microphone that I'm going to use in videos for voiceovers or whatever requires it. This is the Maono PM-AU320S, I believe. I'll put that on screen if that was wrong. I unboxed this a couple of weeks ago and it's pretty good value for money. I'll leave a link to any videos in the description that I've made which relate to any of these products if you want to see that. So I did a review of this. I like it a lot. Great audio quality, and for £70 you get the microphone and everything you need bar the audio interface. It really is great. Like I said in the video about this, the mount and the stand aren't the best quality, but for me they're absolutely fine because I just leave the microphone there all the time. I don't move around with it, so yeah, this is a very good quality microphone. It's definitely good enough for doing a couple of voiceovers. Usually I don't do voiceovers, I just do this talking into the camera, so on the rare occasions that I do use this, it is definitely good enough. Okay, so I think that is pretty much everything. This is actually quite a simple setup, not a lot going on, but it definitely serves its purpose very well. I've edited 2 videos here and had absolutely no problem, so I'm looking forward to editing this one as well. Now, if you would be interested in seeing a separate video about how I edit these videos on this setup, I will be very happy to do that. Please leave a like and subscribe if you would like to see that in the future. I can probably do that very soon indeed if that's something which you would be interested in. And I think that that is pretty much it for this video. I'll finish filming, edit it and get it out as soon as possible, all thanks to this setup. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this was interesting in some way, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.